Wing program. We're at Mohegan Sun in Uncasville, Connecticut, which is, I guess, started out pretty much as a bingo hall, right?
And just about, yeah.
And but, now it's...
Oh, my God.
Now it's just it's a world-class resort.
Absolutely.
It's a destination resort.
Yep.
So you come up here, I mean, they just have literally everything.
Yeah.
And we had the chief of the Mohegan tribe here, Chief Vinny, this morning. Or a person who says they're the chief of the tribe.
Well, you doubt my credentials?
A little bit, yes, but...
How many of my staff have you personally observed to come up here and kiss my ring today?
None.
That's right, because Indians don't do that. It's very good. It's very sharp.
Right. I would like to thank Mitchell Edis.
Mitchell, he's a great kid.
Mm-hmm.
He's been with me now for 3 years. He's our PR director, you know. Any Puerto Ricans come up, he shows them how to get to Foxwoods.
No. That's not what he does.
Huh?
That's not what PR means.
That's not it?
No, that's not what it means.
I'll have to look into that.
Frank,
All right.
okay, I want to thank Mitchell. Frank Pavlich, what does Frank do?
Frank does not do a whole lot. He's got one of those union no-show jobs.
Oh, okay. Joel Cole Classer, looks like. Colclasser. What does he do?
Oh, that's his stage name.
Right.
He's in charge of the stage.
All right. Okay. And then Tracy Pantel something.
Tracy Panties, we call her. She's
Panteliakos,
something like that.
Is she Greek?
She could very well be.
Boy, I didn't know that. That's something else to try now.
No.
Make a note of that here.
So we'd like to thank Mitchell, Frank, Joe, and Tracy, wouldn't we?
Yes, we would. Thank you, all of those people, and we have thousands of staff here, as you know.
Sure, I can imagine.
Yeah. And
those would just be 4 of them.
That would be. Did you mention 4?
Yeah. Also, we want to thank our FAN engineers, Mike Erickson, Jim Pierce, and Dick James for
great job.
The job they did, the adequate job they did.
Yes, they did.
Yeah. So. Yeah. And then the MSNBC people, we want to thank them for nothing. Also, I got Adrienne, it looks like, I don't know, I can't pronounce her last name. What'd she say?
She's Armenian, she said.
No, Damien. And she's
Okay,
Armenian.
she gave me $100 for the ranch.
Oh, all right.
Good. Very nice.
Thank you very much. Give me 20 minutes on man. I'll double it.
What are you, nuts? That thing's worth $30 million. What are you, stupid? I would have given you $500 for it.
No. She didn't buy the ranch for $100. She contributed.
Oh, wow. I feel stupid now, you know.
And then Lawrence Fieldstein gave me a check for $75 for the ranch.
Very nice.
Very nice. These kinds of...
So you got 175 for the tables now, right? That's the way I figure.
Well, I haven't thought, maybe you could just take like $1 million out of the ranch account and just see what happens. But then I wouldn't want to have to answer to the people who gave us the money.
No.
But unless you traveled it, baby, Well, I don't know how to do any of this stuff. The slot machines don't interest me, so... But
come with me, man. I'll teach you a thing or two about how to...
The table games would be fun, wouldn't they? Like,
yeah. Blackjack is a wonderful game.
Yes.
If they ever change that game to 22, I'll kill them. And they know it. They never will.
Right. Okay, so 36 out there. Anything else going on, Chuck, we need to know about?
As a matter of fact, no. Nothing at all, man. You now know it all. You're up to date. You're up to the moment. You're up to snuff. You got it. You got everything there is to know. You know it all. You're the man.
You know, they have the Imus Brothers coffee shop up there. When I walked in there, the guy started calling me a nitwit and a moron. I told him to shut up. Idiot.
I feel pretty. Oh, so pretty. I feel pretty and witty and bright. And I pity any boy who isn't me tonight. up. Imus in the morning.
And now, the top 5.
Mark, on the web at CaldwellBankerMoves.com.
Happy 82. Turning 80 doesn't... Offer only valid on contracts assigned to BMW Bank of North America, BMW Financial Services.
Sports Radio 66, a fan, WFAN, New York.
Remind me to use this next time I get into Mike with Isaiah and Barkley. Barkley, 5 first-team All-NBA. Better Barkley, anybody better than that?
Have to think.
Malone is, you got Malone. You have, you got Duncan down the road. You have,
The tough thing with Duncan is center or forward. He's sort of the hybrid.
We're moving along well. 12 o'clock. Here comes Axe. Sports Radio 66.
Sports Radio 66, the fan, WFAN.
Imus in the morning, Mac and Sid in middays, Mike and the Mad Dog in the afternoon, Steve Summers at night, and Joe Beningo overnights. We're the only station that talks New York sports all day and all night. That's why we're your flagship station for New York sports. The Fan, Sports Radio 66, WFAN New York, an Infinity broadcasting station. WFAN 2020 Sports.
Good afternoon at 12 noon. This is Rich Ackerman. The Rangers are still looking for their first win under Glenn Sather, and we'll try to get it this afternoon in Philadelphia.
Mosley's lost.
See it all live tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific on HBO. For 30 years, building legends one round at a time. Blockbuster gives you a smart stores.
Sports Radio 66, the fan, WFAN, New York.
Right back to it for hour 3. We have a couple guests on this hour away from this topic, so be prepared for that. But didn't realize this is going to be such a big deal here, and it's been a lot of fun. Here is John in Philadelphia, and he is with us on the Fan. John, take it away.
Hey, Chris, how you doing?
Hello, John.
Great topic, Chris. I'll tell you, firsthand.
Season, right? Now, we won't get them on here today. I'll save you for next week. You'll be first up. Andy in Warren, New Jersey, that's you. Timmy in Elmont, Long Island, that is you. Jack McCallum, well done. Mike Doss, Mr. Showalter, Jody Mack here to 2:35. Wigington, among others. Rangers at Philly later on. NBA All-Star Game, John Schmeck, great job there. And our good buddy, of course, is Matt Deutsch. Enjoy your weekend. Get all pumped up for Jordan's farewell. Woo! On TNT. I'll forget about it. Oh, Jordan's playing. Ack at the top. I'll see you Monday. Adios.
Sports Radio 66, the fan, WFAN.
Imus in the morning.
I know I would have put 20,000 right on the nose of war emblem.
Imus in the morning.
It looked like me walking out of Elaine's about 20 years ago. Come another date there.
Weekdays 5:30 to 10.
But they have urine running all down his leg.
On WFAN. Your flagship station for Imus in the morning, Mike and the Mad Dog in the afternoon, and the only station that talks New York sports all day and all night is The Fan, Sports Radio 66, WFAN New York, an Infinity broadcasting station. WFAN 2020 Sports.
Good afternoon at 1 o'clock. This is Rich Ackerman. The Rangers have looked the flagship station for the Imus in the morning program, weekdays from 5:30 until 10.
Sports Radio 66, the fan, WFAN, New York.
A couple of minutes after 1 here on The Fan on a Saturday afternoon. Weather a little bit better than the last time we spoke. Snow in the forecast yesterday. Jody Mack here with you on The Fan for what we hope is a show. We're going to try and cram a phenomenal show into a half show. We're here for an hour and 35 minutes before Ranger Hockey versus the Flyers down in Philly. You get all the coverage right here. So we're going to try and jumble a whole bunch into a short period of time. And we're going to do it a little different.
Fine. Call 1-800-2-DONATE for hassle-free pickup. Remember, 1-800, the number 2-DONATE. I'm Lord McNichol for the Westchester BMW Fan Highway Patrol.
18 till 17 till the hour here in the Imus morning program. So I went in these 2 gas stations in Westport this morning. One of them is a Texaco station.
Yeah.
And another is a mobile station, I believe, trying to get gas. They're run by these Indians, you know?
Yeah.
And they're just the most unfriendly bastards.
Not like the Indians here, no.
No.
Yeah, I'm sure you were really a bundle of sunshine, too.
No, I'm trying to get some coffee. And they have no coffee. And they have, you know.
Hey, Punjab, this damn thing isn't working.
Hey, Gandhi, you want to check the oil?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Well, that's yourself, Pops.
You get done touching up the dot in your head, how about filling the coffee machine? What a nightmare. I hate to be, you know. Anyway. Anyway, is there a record store here at Mohegan Sun or a CD place? Or you can buy CDs?
Yes.
Can you?
Anything you want
Yeah.
in this casino.
Where's Mitchell? Tell Mitchell I want to go get me a copy of 50 Cent's new album. It's called, listen to it on the way back to Westport. It's going to take 8 hours to get there.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of...
It's called, Get Rich or Die Young or something.
There'll be a lot of 60-year-old cowboys in limos listening to that on the way back to Westport.
Don't you want to hear it?
Oh, sure. But I'm not traveling with you.
Thank the Lord. No, you're not. Well, how do I get it?
You go to the
Mitchell
CD?
go get it? I'm not going to the CD place.
Hell
What are
no.
you, nuts? Here's Janice Dean now with the Scum Report. Good morning, Miss Dean.
Good morning. Tongues are still wagging about the strange admissions Michael Jackson made in a British documentary that aired on ABC's 2020. The self-proclaimed king of pop admitted to interviewer Martin Bashir that he sometimes shares his bed with children at his Neverland Ranch, but insisted it's completely platonic and that there is nothing wrong with it.
Not at all.
Not at all.
By the way, those are not his kids either.
They are after the night's over.
Those kids make my kids look like Sicilians.
Well. I saw about
That's not good.
2 or 3 minutes of it. It's so disturbing.
Did you feel sorry for him?
Well, I didn't watch enough of it. No, I don't feel sorry for him. I guess that the part I saw where he said when he was a kid, his father used to make the Jackson 5 rehearse by threatening him with a...
He used to beat him.
Yeah. He said his father used to tell him what a big, ugly nose he had. And that he then had to go out on stage. Yeah, I didn't feel it.
Now he has none.
Give me a break. Give me a break. Get over it. What a wuss.
Oh, everybody has a story
Father
to tell.
told me I had a big nose. If I got upset every time he said something to me, I'd be starring in La Concha Foul in about 2 weeks.
Well, look at you. Look what a mess you are. Your parents must have said something to you.
Yeah, they said you're good looking, you're bright, you got the world by the gluons. That's what they said to me.
And they lied, didn't they?
Yes.
And what do they think of you now?
Oh, they're real proud of me. They, my mom talks with all her friends. Turn on my son in the morning. He's, yeah, you'll love it.
They keep looking at the milk cartons, hoping his picture's going to be on.
Does your mother know about this blonde hair now?
Well, she knows now. I didn't tell her about it yesterday.
Why didn't they dye your eyebrows?
We couldn't. They ran out after they did the pubes.
Would anybody like to see that, by the way? Because I'll show it.
My wife did say she's not a huge... I think she likes you. She just says the kind of person you are is disturbing. As I think we all feel.
Sure.
But she did say she thought you looked better.
Well, Deidre's blonde, so she could appreciate the blonde
She's
look.
blind?
Blonde.
Did they dye your back, too?
No, I don't have any hair on my back, thank the Lord.
But Janice, the deal with Janice turned out looking great.
Yeah?
Janice could get a job like on MSNBC now.
Oh, really? Maybe she could replace
Like the
Christine
last
with
girl. The last girl.
What?
Like the last girl. She
Yeah.
left the show to be on MSNBC.
And she's doing great. She just got demoted to afternoons from mornings.
Well, that was the old Peter Principle deal with Christie. I mean, it was just...
But I don't want to leave yet because I am having such a fantastic time on the Imus in the Morning program.
No, you're not. It's miserable. Joseph is well, we don't even get into what a hideous, horrible human being you are. You are a horrid.
Look what...
You're a horror show.
How can you do that to your best friend?
I told
Well,
you.
you're not my best friend.
Your best friend.
Let's have some steak tonight.
I wouldn't even, if you hadn't contributed hundreds of $1,000s to the ranch, I wouldn't even talk to you.
You know, come on. Hey, he's honest. Come on.
What are you, nuts?
But here's what
I really
here's
thought
the-
you were my best friend.
Here's the thing about you. You are a wonderful human being.
Am I attractive?
No, I'm serious. You help these children. You're a great person. But other than that, you're a disaster.
Why?
I don't know. It's just a horror show.
You are evil.
This you love doing that
You are
to me.
Kim Jong-Imus.
How?
It's unbelievable. The way you treat this poor guy.
I
This portion of Imus in the Morning is brought to you by Hallmark
I just
Cards.
complimented him. What do you think how I treat him?
I would never talk to you unless you donated all that money to the ranch.
know,
I mean,
What I?
No, you won't.
Okay, then. Well, why should I lie then?
You don't even talk to him when he brings in the money. He had a $60,000 check, and he goes, he can't come inside the studio.
You know what? But it's for the little children's, so we know.
I think I'm having a heart attack.
Very good.
Oh, my God.
Good.
Is everybody having a good time?
Over here, quick. What else in this scum world, Janice?
All right.
Joseph knows that I'm not kidding.
I know that.
Go ahead, Janice.
You just got to be careful if your man and your shirt is sticking out when you're around Joseph, because he likes to tuck it in sometimes.
Did you stick your hands in Sid's pants and fondle his wiener?
Yes or no?
Yes or no? Yes or no?
The first
yes
part,
or no?
Yes or no?
No, okay, well.
The fondling part, no.
Well, what was the question?
But could you find anything when you were down there?
No.
And what's interesting is the day after he did it, Sid dyed his hair blonde.
That's right.
Yeah, what is that all about?
Well, if you want to ask me the same question,
Yeah.
what's the question?
Did he stick his hand in your pants and fondle your wiener?
What is...
That's it. I'm putting my pants on and going home.
You know, the truth is, no, Joe, you're my friend, right? And I would never say anything that's not true, all right? I would never hurt your feelings. I would never go out my way to harm you.
Don't go there, Sid.
Twice yesterday.
We're running out of time. What else going on?
All right, VH1 is firing back after being sued in December by Liza Minnelli's husband, so-called husband, for pulling the plug on a reality show that was supposed to feature the couple. The Los Angeles Times reports VH1 had filed a countersuit in New York City claiming David Guest's insistence on control made it impossible to pursue the series. The network claims Guest would refuse to appear on camera unless he looked his best, and that if he ran up big expenses. Looking his best, of course, involves a lot of makeup, a lot more makeup than Liza and little young boys traveling around.
It's a sparkle knife we used to put his face on.
Where's Phil Spector when you need him?
Here's the deal with the Mohegan Sun.
All right, what's the deal?
Check it out.
Yeah, but how long ago did I ask for that 50-cent album?
Not even 5 minutes.
We haven't done a commercial yet.
7 minutes.
2 copies.
That's unbelievable.
How about that?
Mohegan Sun, ladies and gentlemen.
You want a copy of this, Rob?
Yeah.
Okay. Plus 3 bonus tracks. This is great. Well, it's very nice of Mr. Lettuce and everybody else here at Mohegan Sun.
They have a Mercedes dealership here in Mohegan. I don't have time to go up there, but maybe Mitchell could go up and get me a Mercedes.
That's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah,
Sure.
Anyway, what were you saying, Janice? Don't
I
wrap it
was
up
just
here.
talking about David Guest and Liza
Oh,
Minnelli.
he's a horror show, too. God almighty, what an awful-looking human being.
Michael.
What is that on his head, by the way?
Oh, God knows.
It's a piece of lettuce.
Well, please welcome now to the Imus in the Morning program, David and Liza.
Thank you so much, Ivan. You know, people have been talking about why Michael Jackson puts things over his children's heads.
Yeah.
David puts things over my heads all the time. It's usually a bag.
Let me ask you this.
Plastic, though, so I can see.
David, there's been some discussion about whether, in fact, you and Liza have consummated your marriage.
Consomme, as in soup.
No, whether in fact you've had...
I know what you're talking about. I'm
Yeah.
not stupid.
Yes.
We actually tried a doggy style.
Well,
But the dog's breath was so bad.
You should have pet him first. I told you. Look at the pictures.
David, you know what Percodan? I'm starting to come down. It's scary. Help me, Papa.
You'll be all right, darling.
Who's your daddy?
What good is sitting?
Oh, God, she's going to sing.
David and Liza.
Now I don't drive. I have a limo driving the back. I lock the doors in case I'm attacked. I'm making records, my fans, they can't wait. They write me letters, tell me I'm great. So I got me an office, gold records on the wall. Just leave a message.
will be sold by means of an offering circular. This message was brought to you by the New York City TFA.
Hi, I'm Derek Cope, race car 6461. That's 800-876-6461.
It's hot in Iraq this year. You well expected us to crack this year. Everybody mad because Osama's not there. So Junior Bush decided to put planes in the air. Quite a phenomenon, but it ain't fun. Hard as they look, ain't no smoking gun. Nothing military, but they just faking jacks. I'm a squirrel trying to get a nut. Don't deserve an attack. Be fooled by the bombs that I got. I'm still son of a barak. Said I had no weapons, but I got a lot. No matter what you say, you know I'm the butcher. W act like he a big shot. I'm still son of a barak. Said I had no weapons, now I have a lot. No matter where they go, you know where I came from. Grew up in a village, small spring huts. Now I rape and pillage, I just go nuts. Got my bunker when I want to chill. I'm mad, that's what they told ya. I'm really just a soldier of love. Drinking Jack and banging hookers. I like 'em real skanky. Don't be fooled by the bombs that I got. I'm still son of a barak. Said I had no weapons, but I got a lot. No matter what you say, you know I'm the butcher. W act like he a big shot. I'm still son of a barak. Said I had no weapons, now I have a lot. No matter where they go, you know where I came from. Junior is playing hated, so now he's a great Satan. Take it to the battlefield. Gotta love those human shields. Love my life is my regime. Put Allah first and always keep it real. Hey, all you infidels. By the bombs that I got, I'm still son of a barak. Said I had no weapons, but I got a lot. No matter what you say, you know I'm the butcher. W act like he a big shot. I'm still son of a barak. Said I had no weapons, now I have a lot. No matter where they go, you know where I came from. Don't care about weapons inspectors. I'll give them all to terrorist defectors. My mama didn't raise no fool. I graduated from GI school. You should feel a bit insecure, cause this is the mother of holy war. You think that I'm bad like Stalin? Wait till gas costs $5 a gallon. Fooled by the bombs that I got. I'm still son of a barak. Said I had no weapons, but I got a lot. No matter what you say, you know I'm the butcher. W act like he a big shot. I'm still son of a barak. Said I had no weapons, now I have a lot. No matter where they go, you know where I came from.
Imus. Copyright 2003, Infinity Broadcasting. All rights reserved. Imus in the Morning is a presentation of WFAN and Westwood One Entertainment.
Imus in the morning, Mac and Sid in middays, Mike and the Mad Dog in the afternoon, Steve Summers at night, and Joe Beningo overnights. We're the only station that talks New York sports all day and all night. That's why we're your flagship station for New York sports. The Fan, Sports Radio 66, WFAN New York, an Infinity Broadcasting Station. WFAN 2020 Sports.
Good morning at 10 o'clock. This is Rich Ackerman. It was an entertaining night at the Garden, if nothing else. The Knicks lost to the Lakers 114-109, and for three quarters, it was the Kobe and Shaq show. The two combined to outscore the Knicks. Bryant wowed the crowd with his complete arsenal of dunks, drives, and jumpers. O'Neal had his way inside and was able to easily pass. So good you won't want to chew on anything else. 5 minutes after 10 on a Friday here on the Fan. The show is Mac and Sid. We're Son Sid today. My new blonde counterpart spent the morning up at Mohegan Sun. Kind of where I wish I was right now. Good for you. Get off the air at 10 o'clock. I know you got the rest of the day ahead of you. To play a little blackjack, get over to the horsey room. I wish I would Sid. Except, then again, I saw Sid this morning, so I really don't necessarily wish I were Sid. I just wish I were where Sid is right now. Sid's got the rest of the day off after doing the I-Man show from Mohegan Sun, so we'll make it up for you the rest of the way today till 1. Hopefully, wherever you are, you're not out on the roads. That you either made it to work safe and sound, and or you decided you are a non-essential person, and you were staying home. Believe me, it crossed my mind at one point. If Sid wasn't at Mohegan Sun today, there's a good chance I'd be sitting in my living room right now. It's nasty. You know how you get the weather all the time here in New York. It's almost always, and more north and west of the city. In the suburbs, Westchester, Putnam County, that's where the snow really comes down. This time it was south and east. I live south. I don't live east of the city, but I do live south, and I had 6 inches when I got out and got into my car at 5:30 in the morning. I left early because I knew it was going to be nasty, 5:30. And I went a couple 20 miles, and I just said, this is a bad idea. So I kind of finagled my way off the New Jersey Turnpike over to the northeast corridor and took the train up. Said, don't be a dope, don't try and drive in this weather. So, if you're out there and you're on the roads, some places worse than others, wherever you are, it's not good. The roads are going to be slick. It's going to continue to snow until mid-afternoon. So, go slow, take it easy, keep us tuned. We'll try and give you some information. Give you a chance to speak your mind and keep you somewhat entertained. If you're home, good for you. God bless. Stay in. Don't go out. Let it finish. Some people like to go out and shovel in shifts. My brother used to do this all the time, and I told him he was nuts. It's probably why he didn't have as bad a back as I did. He's smarter that way, but I just wouldn't go out into the cold. You get 2 or 3 inches, go out and shovel. You get 2 or 3 more inches, then go out and shovel that. You maybe get 2 or 3 more, and we may get upwards of 9 in Jersey where I am. You go out and shovel again. No. I wait till it stops snowing, till the weatherman tells me there's no more snow coming down, and then I'll go out and shovel the whole thing. I suggest you do the same today, because it's going to be snowing for quite some time. There's no reason to go out 3 or 4 or 5 different times. There was a reason to go to the Garden last night if you made the trek into the city. We'll start with the Garden boys today, the Knicks and the Rangers. Both games were good. Bottom line, not good enough. Knicks fell behind by 34 points. Kobe Bryant was on fire. Right now, he's the hottest player in the NBA. They tried to handle Shaq, and Shaq made his foul shots, which if he's making his foul shots, you're not going to hold him in check. He ends up with 33, Kobe with 46, and the Knicks are down 34 points. Okay, you can turn this one off. And I flipped over and watched some Rangers, maybe a little college basketball. I think I tuned into CSI for a couple of minutes, and I went back. The Knicks cut it to 18. Holy mackerel, the Knicks have it down to 12. And in the last few minutes, they got it down to 4 and 5. They had just dug themselves such a gigantic hole, 34 points. And I know in the NBA, quote unquote, everybody makes a run. Well, a run is 10, 15 points. When you got to slice 34, that's a little difficult. It's a little bit much to ask. And that's exactly the position that the Knicks put themselves in. They did so without Allen Houston.
Sports Radio 66 WFAN. They're talking sports, going at it as hard as they can. It's like a mad dog on the fan. Nothing can get by 'em, turn it on and try 'em. Like in the mad dog, WFAN.
Good afternoon, everybody. How are you today? The Mike and the Mad Dog radio program, Friday, New York. 7th day of February, the year 2003. Nice to have you with us, talking about the world of sports. Mike and the Mad Dog's radio program, Yes Network, of course, a pleasure, with Mark Malusis and Stevie Cohen. Calling back here on Monday, talking about what's happening. 718-937-6666. Bobby Knight on in a minute. You want to take another game? Good afternoon there, Michael. How are you?
I'm fine on this snowy Friday as the snow comes down. And the roads are okay, though. I mean, if you drive carefully, just do that. And it wasn't much traffic either, but the roads were...
You and he can still be friends.
Good.
I'm doing terrific. I'm sitting here in about 4 inches of snow. All the flights are canceled. I'm sitting outside Union Station, about to jump on a train and get to New York. What is going on in your family? What did you discover about your grandparents? Now explain that to me. Well, my grandfather came over to this country in about 1905, but it was discovered that about 4 years before he came over here in 1901, he had changed his name from Cohen, Fritz Cohen, K-O-H-N, to Kerry, and his brother actually had changed his name 4 years before that, in 1897 or 98, something like that. But he never came over here, strangely enough. He and
Others stayed over in Austria, and they're still there to this day, running around with the name Carey. They also, my grandmother and grandfather, converted to Catholicism, and then about 5 years, I guess he came here in 1905. It was sometime around 1920, 21, Don. My grandfather took his own life. He killed himself. My father was about 5 years old, and he never, he just never knew his father. I never knew anything or much about them, and we just discovered sort of the depths of their transition and background, I guess. So I was listening to Chris Matthews talk to you the other day about how people come to America and, try to find a new life, and obviously one way or the other, they certainly did that.
Well, so what does this mean? We have two Jewish people running for the presidency, or no?
I leave that to others to decide, Don. I'm a practicing Roman Catholic. I've been a Catholic since the day I was christened. My father was a Catholic. My grandfather became one. Obviously, I have Jewish roots, and that's terrific. But I can't tell you what it means. Other people will have to decide. From my perspective, it's the opening of a door. It's sort of like a light bulb going on with respect to one side of my family about which I knew very little.
Actually, thankfully, I don't think it really means much to anybody I know. It doesn't mean anything to. So.
Well, somebody told me, Don, that you were born Jewish but converted, and I guess that's good news because the Jewish people have suffered enough.
Well, my Kinky Freeman says I'm a Jew by inspiration, whatever that means.
Well, I think it's a great way to be, whatever it means.
So there's a poll out now, Senator Kerry, and I know it's a little early in all of this, but they take the polls, and morons like me report them, but this Quinnipiac poll suggesting the strength of various people, some announcing that they're running for the Democratic nomination and some not. Have you seen this poll?
Don, I've seen sort of little bits of different polls over the weeks, and I don't pay that much attention to them. I saw somebody pointed out a poll that came out the other day. I don't like polls at this stage of the game. I obviously like them when they show me ahead, but I still am not, I'm very non-poll oriented. I think you have to go out and you have to earn it every single day. You have to talk to people. You've got to give them a reason for voting for you, and the reason is not a poll. The reason is that you want to take the country somewhere. The reason is you think there are things we need to do that we're not doing today, putting people back to work, fixing the education system, making America safer.
Well, just briefly, I won't belabor this because I agree with it. It's not all that important, but it does show Senator Hillary Clinton with 42% of the vote, and then Lieberman, you, Gephardt, all with somewhere in the low teens or in double digits, but 11, 12. But what's kind of interesting is when they pair, say, you against President Bush, at this point you would have 42% of the vote, he would have 50, but Lieberman would have almost identically the same, and Gephardt would have almost identically the same. Hillary Clinton, even though she leads in the Democratic poll, would fall far behind in a race against the president. So I don't know what that means. Probably doesn't mean anything. So probably shouldn't waste time talking about it, should we?
Well, that's a good idea. I'm glad you brought. I tell you what, Chief Vinny sounds really interesting. I'd like to get Chief Vinny into my campaign.
Chief Vinny was an idea of mine as I was driving up here this morning as a way to lose this account.
Well, he has these pearls of wisdom. He sounds a little like Yogi Berra,
What do you think of I know you voted for this to authorize the president to go to war with Iraq in a resolution here a while back.
Yes, sir.
What did you think of Secretary Powell's presentation over at the UN the other day?
Don, I thought it was an important presentation, and I think you have to work not to acknowledge that Iraq is avoiding its responsibility. I mean, you really have to work hard to say that when these guys are talking to each other and they talk about moving ammunition, moving missiles, you see photos of missiles, you're not allowed to talk to scientists without them being present to intimidate them, and then all of a sudden today you see that first interrogation. I mean, you have to work to find a way to say that this guy is somehow complying. And so the question is, what do you do about it next? Well, I don't think, the 1991 ceasefire agreement that the UN put in place, the United States didn't put that in place, the UN put that in place, requires this guy to disarm. And my fight all along in this effort has been to try to get the president and the administration not to just beat up on our allies, but to kind of bring them along, to work to do the hard diplomatic work that builds a coalition. Not because I think the United States should cede any decision of our security to an international institution, but because we are stronger. Americans are going to be safer. This will be easier to do, and it will be less costly if we have international support.
Well, what is there was a guy last night, the guy who defected from Iraq and was self-described as Saddam Hussein's bomb maker and wrote the book and so on. He was on a news hour last night with Jim Lehrer, and he presented a fairly interesting proposition. He said, let's just say Saddam Hussein wants to cooperate. What is he? He can't suddenly say, well, yeah, I've been lying all the time, and yes, we do have all this stuff, and here it is. So unless he could do, I guess he could do like Bill Clinton did. He could just say, well, you have to find a blue dress with some anthrax or something. I mean, I realize I'm being a little silly, but what does he do? What does Saddam Hussein do if he wants to cooperate?
He's got to really open up. There are several things. Colin Powell yesterday was in front of our committee, and I asked him that question. I said, what can he do, if anything, at this point, to avoid a confrontation? And Colin Powell made it very clear that you've got to permit the full access that they haven't done. You've got to allow those scientists across the board to be interrogated. But most importantly, he's got to show us with clarity what happened to those weapons that we know he had, which he has not accounted for. I mean, that's just so fundamental. And you've got to ante up those mobile labs. There are a set of things that might get you closer to some sense of compliance. But I think at this point he's proven himself so duplicitous that it's going to be pretty hard for him to meet anybody's standard.
Well, so how long should we give him to do it? And if he doesn't do it, then what should we do? Should we go to war with him?
I think that you have to give him a short period of time now. I don't think that this is something, or you begin to make a joke out of the whole notion of accountability under the United Nations.
Give him a couple of weeks, couple of months, what?
Oh, no, I don't think it's a matter of months, unless he began to truly offer this up. If all of a sudden he changes and there's a whole bunch of weaponry that is being disclosed, then obviously you've got to put that to the test. But absent that, it seems to me it's a short period of time. It's measured in weeks. You have to make a judgment. But the most important thing, Don, and this is where I've been, so adamant over the last months. If the administration had begun this discussion, not with talk of regime change and not with talk of war, but rather if they'd begun it months ago with a discussion about weapons of mass destruction and the threat to the world, I think you'd have found allies much more willing to be embracing the possibility of a confrontation now. But a lot of the allies don't trust the administration because they began this effort in September, right before the election, and because they showed in the prior year and a half they weren't that concerned about it, and because they've kind of been so one-sided and unilateral about how they've gone about building up that support. So the administration has really inherited problems of its own making in trying to build a sufficient coalition.
Well, I'm still not clear on what you think we ought to do. You voted...
I think we have to... let me be as clear as I can. We have to tell them point blank, you have a certain number of weeks to comply, and if you're not prepared to comply, the United Nations ought to be prepared to try to hold them accountable. My first preference is for the United Nations to do it. And if the United Nations isn't willing to do it, then you have to cross that bridge of whether there's a sufficient level of rationale for you to go in all by yourself. I don't think we ought to go in all by ourselves as a matter of first choice, but if you get to that point, more importantly, Don, and this is really important, while the administration is focused on Iraq, there is a greater threat taking place in North Korea right now, where if they start reprocessing that plutonium, then you really, the horses are out of the barn. You got a serious problem in knowing where that plutonium may go
and they have the capacity to build 5 or 6 nuclear weapons within 6 months. The administration has not drawn the line as clearly, even as the Clinton administration did in 1994, that they will not accept the reprocessing of plutonium.
Well, when you voted to allow the administration and the president to go to war with Iraq, that resolution was there a caveat there that was in the, or a condition rather, that was with the blessing of the UN, or did it mean that we could do it unilaterally?
I said on the floor of the Senate that day, in my speech, very clearly, that I was voting to go to the United Nations, and I was voting to get the UN involved in this and to do it with a real international coalition. I do not want the United States to do it alone unless there is an imminency of the threat that requires you to do it alone, and I don't want us to sort of go off on some preemptive journey without legitimization. However, Don, if after you exhaust all the other possibilities, that's the only choice you have to protect the country, and the threat is definable in a context that you can bring the American people with you, you go do it. But I want to see us do this with international support. That's what I voted for. And that is, incidentally, what the president promised he was going to do. And that's what Colin Powell told us he was going to do.
That sort of sounded like Tom Brokaw there when I tried to say unilaterally, didn't I? Oh, you noticed that or not? But really, I almost swallowed my tongue. Well, you mentioned...
Not the only time...
you tried to divert my attention from this Iraq thing by bringing up Korea, but as long as you brought up Korea... well, that sounds a lot more serious to me than Iraq.
I'm not trying to divert your attention. I think it is the most serious issue in front of us today. If North Korea breaks out with the reprocessing of plutonium, and you could have 5 or 6 nuclear weapons 6 months from now, you could have 6 more next year. If they continue to build these reactors that they're building, you could build dozens of weapons. And what that does is it unleashes Japan. It'll have a profound impact on China, on South Korea, and the administration has gone back and forth on this. One day they have one policy, the next day they say, they say we're not going to talk to him. So for a year and a half they don't talk to him, and finally he gets their attention by doing exactly what they started to do with Bill Clinton when Clinton started to talk to them. Now they say they're going to talk to them. This could have all been avoided by doing what Colin Powell wanted to do a year and a half ago, which is talk to them. Very simple. Talk to them.
We're talking with Senator John Kerry from Massachusetts, who's running for the Democratic nomination for the presidency, which I suspect he will probably win. And I would ask at this point, would you be willing to commit to putting our guy on the ticket with you, Reverend Al Sharpton?
Geez, Don, I was planning to put you on the ticket. I mean, I think that would be a generational spanner.
Do you think is Senator Sharpton a serious or Senator Sharpton? Is Reverend Sharpton? That's an interesting slip. Is Reverend Sharpton? He's a serious candidate, isn't it? Don't you think? Or do you?
Anybody who declares for the presidency at this point, I have to take seriously because I'm a beginning candidate myself, and it would be pretty arrogant of me to start dismissing other candidates. I think the people are going to decide as we go along who's serious, who isn't. Those judgments will be made by people in Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina, and other places. And I take every candidate seriously.
Well, any of these news people I talk with, like the guys from Newsweek, Evan Thomas or Howard Feynman, they dismiss Reverend Sharpton as a joke, which I find puzzling.
Don, you have to ask them why they do that. And, there are people who represent different constituencies. They all have a voice. He's a smart man, and he's capable in front of an audience. With respect to his record and other things, those are the things that will all be put to test in the course of the primaries.
Are you comfortable, Senator Kerry, that we're going to get the truth out of what happened to the Shuttle Columbia?
Absolutely. Absolutely, I am.
Why?
Because these are professionals. These are people who care enormously. The investigation has now been transferred into independent hands. It is in nobody's interest. I mean, when we had the O-ring problem with the Challenger, people knew we had to solve the problem, Don. We have other lives that will be at risk. and we have a responsibility to them to solve it. And I can't imagine anybody involved with NASA whose heart and gut isn't committed to solving the problem, knowing what happened, and making certain that it never happens again.
And finally, I read someplace this morning, I think in the Boston Globe, that Teresa is going to now use the name Teresa Heinz Carey.
Well, yeah, I mean, we checked with Deirdre Coleman Imus. And Deirdre Coleman Imus said it's a good idea.
Well, she actually just goes by Deirdre Imus now.
Well, maybe that'll happen too. I don't know. Listen, so many people would just call you that anyway, that it's simpler, it's more direct, and off we go.
Well, at this point, Senator Carey, as you know, you're our guy in the... You and Reverend Shapton are two guys. I always like to have two horses in the race.
Well, Don, I'm going to work on you for the next months to get you to, play one bandwagon. This dual bandwagon thing is going to stretch your legs beyond their capacity.
It's always fun to have you on. Thanks very much. I hope you catch your train. And where are you going, to New York?
I'm going to New York.
All right. Thanks, Senator.
Take care. Good to be with you. Thank you.
Senator John Kerry here at the Similar program.
Saddam Hussein has been given a very short time to...
The Empire Line, trains running between Albany and New York's Penn Station, will be running out of Grand Central. This report's brought to you by Radio Shack. If you use a wireless phone a lot, visit Radio Shack. They've got batteries for just about every type of wireless phone, no matter where you bought it. For hard-to-find batteries, it's Radio Shack. You've got questions, they've got answers. I'm Lori McNichol for the Westchester BMW Fan Highway Patrol.
Coming up on 7 minutes to the hour here in the Average Morning program, we're at Mohegan Sun and Uncle Phil Connect. She underwent this makeover at the hands of Joe Abood and the Learning Channel.
And Richards of Greenwich.
And she's pregnant this morning.
What did Richards of Greenwich have to do with all this? They gave her the stuff?
That's what we did, the makeover at the store. We spent the entire day Wednesday there, and they did, yes, they...
What did the Learning Channel do? I thought they were supposed to pay for all this stuff.
Well, it's a trade. It's a trade. Richards of Greenwich will get a great mention. They'll get credits.
Mention where?
On the Learning Channel. The makeover show was great. Just think of, I'd love to do other people on the show.
Not based on what you did with Sid. That's a disgrace.
Yeah,
what you did with Sid. No, you're not doing anything.
You know what's funny? Well, I had 4 different outfits on, man. I had a suit on, a very classy suit. I had a sport jacket and slacks. And this came to me, and I said this on the air. You'll see it on the Learning Channel. I said, this would be the one outfit that I think I-Man would wear, because it's got that kind of...
I-Man?
Yes, it's got that...
Nobody would wear
wait a second.
That is awful looking.
Wait a second. This doesn't have that desert feel, that New Mexico,
that... out of here.
It's got the Fire Island feel.
Please welcome now to the program the chief of the Mohegans, who's here with us this morning, Chief
Finney.
Chief Finney.
Yeah, how you doing?
How do you think Janice's makeover turned out?
Oh, gee, she's a knockout. Are you kidding me?
No.
I thought she was good looking before, from the TV. Only seen her on the TV,
You married Vinny.
But, excuse me?
Are you married?
Yeah, but I ain't a fanatic about it. You know what I mean?
How about you and me later on at the show?
How about right here on the table? I got nothing else to do.
No, Chief Finney, that's not what we got, man.
It's an old Indian custom.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Kamana wanna lay you. It's actually Hawaiian.
How did Sid turn out, do you think?
Oh, gee, Sid, keep an eye on him in the men's rooms around here, all right? We have a little problem with that occasionally.
Oh, you do?
Well, we get gay groups up here. Not there's anything wrong with that.
Of course.
But again, on the tables, we don't go for that. Because you got to clean them chips off and everything. They stick together, It's maintenance. It's maintenance. You got to do it.
That's fine. Thanks, Chief Finney.
We got a couple of new games. I want you all to try it. Russian roulette.
Right.
You win, we put a bullet in your head.
No, that's not what
And on the way out, you'll see a large slot machine. It looks like a slot machine. It's really just a box. Throw whatever money you got left right in there. Save yourselves the time.
4 minutes now, Billy.
Imus in the morning.
General and subcontractors, public works officials, utility and asphalt paving contractors, excavators, Connecticut Saturn retailer, or call 1-800-555-1212.
Hi, I'm Mr. Moynihan at WFAN in New York. I mean, a bagel at Infinity Broadcasting Radio Station. Part of the, what?
Nothing at all.
Part of the Viacom deal. It's time for a little local news. and then we'll get to all the other stuff.
Okay.
We could have some fun, or it could be tedious.
Absolutely.
I'm so irritated at Abood for this cheesy outfit that he came up with for Sid. It's just,
Well, let's ask the audience.
No, we're not asking. I don't care what the audience thinks. The audience are a bunch of degenerates. Well, anybody comes to a gambling casino at 5 o'clock in the morning to see somebody talking on the radio needs help.
Is it going
They
to be
need counseling.
It's going to be a fashion comment.
Yeah, I mean, look at the way they're dressed, and we're going to ask them, how do you think Sid's dressed?
Maybe we could make over the audience. Look at them.
They're fine. I'm sure they're all nice people, and just as long as we don't have to have any kind of contact with them. Anyway, here's Chuck with the news. Good morning, Chuck. Ask the audience. Shut up. Oh, yeah, Chuck.
I think he looked nice. Very pretty man with yellow hair.
The audience is afraid of Sid. Yeah, and with good reason.
Perhaps for crying out loud.
Go ahead, Chuck.
You're going to get murdered or robbed or disease. It depends. People are waking up to snow this morning. National Weather Service says 3 to 6 inches before it ends, probably around the middle of the afternoon. The Manhattan Libertarian Party tried to give away what they called a Guns for Tots toy drive. Guns for Tots yesterday at BS 72 in East Harlem to make a point. The group says it's demonstrating its opposition to city council legislation to outlaw the sale of toy guns. Calvin Hunt of the East Harlem Community Watch program says he's angry that the Manhattan Libertarian Party chose his community to make this statement for its demonstration.
If you want to take these guns, the Liberation Party want to take their guns somewhere, go to Soho with them, not in East Harlem, where we have a crime rate. The trouble is at an all-time high right now. And innocent kids are getting shot with fake guns.
He's right about that, by the way.
Then he goes in his car and listens to 50 Cent.
That would be fine.
Get rich or die. The Manhattan Libertarian Party's Jim Lezinski says
get
things...
rich or die trying.
Oh, whatever. That's it. Says things such as water pistols and toy guns are just simply good, clean fun and shouldn't be outlawed. At least that's their opinion.
Get off my man 50 Cent.
That's right. High weather snow ending mid-afternoon. Total accumulation maybe up to half a foot. Low 30s today.
Get on my face.
It is 28 degrees right now. Coming up on 3 minutes after the hour.
Like a kid.
This is a healthcare update from...
I'm in Marketville, Connecticut at Mohegan Sun here, which is in a wolf den, bunch of people. And it's been a fairly successful morning this morning so far. The audience appears to be some fairly nice folks, and it's a gorgeous resort here. It's really actually what it is. This makeover that the Learning Channel and General Boot did.
He's 1 for 1.
It's worked out great for Janice. She looks like a different person.
Absolutely.
And Sid looks like, he's going to try to get a...
He looks like he's been dumpster diving.
What they did is they put a cheesy Kmart-looking outfit on Sid and dyed his hair blonde. And he looks, and he's still the same beady-eyed weasel that...
well, that's true. But he does look, he's all beige.
No, I'm begging you. You're already in enough trouble. You did a great job with Janice, and I'm beginning to wonder what he actually had to do with Janice. How much did he have to do? Be honest. How much did Joe have to do with Janice's? Oh, I'm going to ask Janice. How much did Joe have to do with your situation?
Well, Joe was there when I was trying on outfits.
Right. And he was very helpful, wasn't he?
Yes, he was
very helpful. He wasn't helpful.
He was trying on the same outfits.
There were about 5 or 6 or 7 women throwing clothing at me that day. I was not happy that day, but Joseph was very calm and cool and collected and was a moral support for me that day.
All right, we're going to have to get back to all this because I'm starting to get irritated. And we got a lot of news to cover. 6 minutes after the hour. Let's first go to Jay Barbary, NBC News, who's down in Florida. Good morning, Jay. How are you?
Good morning, Jay. Imus, how are you, sir?
Fine. So yesterday when we talked, they had dismissed the idea. Well, they hadn't dismissed the idea, but they'd sort of ruled out that this hard piece of foam that struck the wing and fell off the booster was responsible for now that's back in play, right?
It's one of the things that's back in, Imus. But what happened overnight, to update the story here, there's a new tracking camera out in New Mexico that the Air Force has. And when the shuttle was coming in, it was calibrating it.
The White House correspondent for NBC News.
Thank you,
on the Imus in the Morning program, man. He is good. 20 minutes after the hour. So what's going on? It's the Super Bowl.
When is Sid coming? Monday?
No, Sid is leaving today, right, Sid?
I'm leaving in about a half hour. My flight leaves Kennedy at 11 o'clock this morning. 3 days.
Missed the week.
Fun starts tonight, Mike, when I get there.
Knock at the door.
Sid, you are 2 to 5 to ever make it through the airport security.
Imus in the morning.
One of the attendants said she had many problems trying to clean up Belle's room. Dirty towels, bloody sheets, dirty condoms. And sitting on Belle's night table on a daily basis was an artificial penis.
That's going to look a lot like Dog's Room on Sunday in San Diego.
Come on.
Never someone of those, Mike,
Book a cruise now with Travelocity during our biggest cruise sale ever.
Ever talk to him, Charles?
No, I haven't, man.
But you've heard me talk to him.
I've heard you talk to him on the phone.
It's like talking to Chief Finney.
It's not good.
Chief Finney, you must know Mike Oster, right?
No, I never heard of him. If his name don't end in a vowel, I don't have nothing to do with it.
Right. Well, Ostro, that would be in.
Probably a W. I'm thinking O-S-T-R-O-W. I'm thinking. I mean, I am no rocket scientist over here, but apparently neither are rocket scientists these days.
I was afraid that was going to happen. I just wanted to try to avoid it, but unfortunately, I know when you turn you loose that you you get what you get. So you can't bitch. You get the good, and then sometimes you get veer off the road. Friendly Motors, Mercedes-Benz, they're great dealerships, and the one in Wappinger Falls is on Post Road. Mercedes-Benz of Danbury is on Federal Road, and I would tell you they're great dealerships. That's all there is to it. So if you're going to get a Mercedes-Benz, which you ought to think about doing, see one of these folks, and they're on the website, they're on the web at whatever that is, Mercedes-Benz of Danbury.com or FriendlyMotors.com. So check them out. All right, now let me talk to you about the Vermont Teddy Bear. First of all, this is a great company. They've been. Like Wyatt came to my office the other day, and he saw this little teddy bear that they sent him that had his, he was born July 3rd, 1998, and it said Frederick Wyatt Imus on it, and a little bib, and he grabbed the little bear, and he has him turned loose. I haven't seen it in the past few days, but what did he do with it? He grabbed it then, and he loved it because these bears are cute, and they're a first quality product. Then they have great packaging, and it's particularly great for Valentine's Day. Get your baby a fat little fuzzy teddy bear that they can sleep with, or just snuggle up with. They're really great. And so you could call them this morning. I would recommend you call them. In fact, call them right now. 1-800-829-BEAR. Go call them now. 1-800-829-BEAR. All right, 26 minutes after the hour here on the Imus in the Morning program. Time now here on the Imus in the Morning program for the adventures of Iraqi and Bullwinkle.
And now, the further adventures of Iraqi and Bullwinkle. When we last left Mos and Saddam, they were in downtown Papa brand new Baghdad, attempting to hide their weapons of mass destruction from the United Nations inspectors.
Hey, Iraqi, where do you want me to put these warheads?
Over there, by the other banned weapons.
Which ones? The heat-seeking oboes or the ground-to-air tubing?
Not banned weapons, stupid. Banned weapons. The ones prohibited by the official decree of our treaty.
Oh, well, I can see why you'd want to forbid the use of these anti-aircraft trombones.
Stop fooling around, Bullwinkle. We have only a few minutes before Secretary Semicolon Powell gives address to Security Council. We must make sure he does not find any smoking guns.
Well, if they weren't smoking so much, they'd be a whole lot easier for us to hide them.
Forget about smoking guns. I am more concerned Semicolon Powell has discovered our Al-Qaeda ties.
Well, maybe we should all just stop wearing those ties.
What ties?
The ones that guy Al-Qaeda gave to us. Were they a Father's Day gift?
Idiot! Hand me those 2 liters of anthrax.
Okay, but there's only one left.
What happened to other one?
I drank it.
Bullwinkle!
Tell you the truth, it wasn't really all that refreshing. But I'll still give you the deposit back on the bottle.
You drank the anthrax?
All this hard work made me thirsty, and I won't drink Pepsi after what they did to my homie Ludacris.
But Bullwinkle, that is one of our biological weapons.
Then I guess that's one less of them we have to hide.
Bullwinkle, anthrax is bacteria that causes death in warm-blooded animals like cattle, sheep, humans.
Well, good thing I'm a moose.
Tune in again next time when our stalwart heroes discover one of their phone conversations has been intercepted by U.S. intelligence agents.
Hello? Is your weapons manufacturing plant running? Well, then run out and catch it.
Cue applause.
Iraqi and Bullwinkle here in the Imus Morning program. 28 after the hour. Tom Oliphant is coming up.
Imus in the morning.
you been?
It not only tastes good, it's good for you every day.
Radio program on WFAN New York and Infinity Broadcasting Station. It is 9 o'clock. Time for Imus in the Morning News. Some of the local developments. The East Coast catching another blast of winter. A storm may drop as much as 8 inches in certain locations, particularly along the coastline down in New Jersey. Weather Service international meteorologist Fawn Boyd Vigil says New York City will, in fact, be blanketed by snow.
It's moving very quickly, and even though it is light and fluffy, the accumulations could even be, significant for New York City. They're not necessarily used to, a good 5 to 6 inches on the ground.
Washington, Philadelphia, Boston areas also expecting to get similar amounts of snow out of the storm that'll then move on up into the Canadian Maritime provinces. At this admittedly extraordinarily early point, nevertheless, Senator Hillary Rodham Clinton is leading the Democratic pack. In this new presidential poll the I-Man's been discussing this morning, Quinnipiac poll director Mickey Carroll says Senator Clinton is extremely popular among Democrats, even though she hasn't said she's even running.
What the numbers show is that if she gets in, which she says she won't, Mrs. Clinton would absolutely dominate the Democratic field. With her out, it's Senator Lieberman.
Carroll says 42% of Democrats favor Mrs. Clinton. The only other candidates with double-digit support are Connecticut Senator Joe Lieberman, 15%, followed by Senator Kerry, and Missouri Congressman Dick Gephardt, 11% each. Then you go to John Edwards, 7%, Howard Dean, Vermont Governor, 3%, and Reverend Al Sharpton, 2%. However, any of the Democratic contenders would lose to President Bush. Voters say they would pick Bush over Senator Clinton, 52-41. Closest matchup would give Mr. Bush a win over Senator Lieberman by 49 to 43%. The former head Islamic chaplain in the state prison system of New York barred from the facilities after he was quoted as being sympathetic to the September 11th terrorists is disputing the Wall Street Journal report that led to his banishment. Warith Dean Umar said the attack was something that was very bad and he felt saddened, but he also has said that he felt the attack was an indication and sign that America's foreign policies have gone astray and have created havoc in the world. Umar says he now fears for the safety of himself and for the safety of his family. Sports, the Knicks lose to the Los Angeles Lakers 114-109. The Rangers were winners last night. And the weather, the snow today, maybe up to a half foot, high in the low 30s. Then tonight, cloudy, gradual clearing, upper teens. Tomorrow, mostly sunny conditions with a high in the low 30s. Snow expected to end probably around mid-afternoon. 28 degrees right now, coming up on 3 past the hour.
New Jersey Lottery's Mega Millions jackpot is up to
1-800-863-WORD.
5 minutes after the hour here in the Imus in the Morning program. Imus on the road. We're at Mohegan Sun in Uncasville, Connecticut, here in the Wolf Den. Some of the... you can imagine the kind of person who would come to a gambling casino at 5 o'clock in the morning to watch a radio program.
Well, some of them stayed over. They came yesterday.
How many of you stayed over?
Experienced the beautiful
how many of you
hotel.
drove up this morning for this?
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Oh,
Man,
my God.
that's very dedicated.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And frankly, troubling.
Well, it's not all just for you. There's a big nickel slots tournament after the show.
Anyway, so we're here at Mohegan Sun, and that's the deal. And Chief Vinny from the Mohegan tribe is here, and we'll talk to him in just a second. Imus on the Road is sponsored by the official tea of the Irish Morning program, Bigelow, and by Mohegan Sun, come play, and by Cross Pens, the official pen of the Irish Morning program, although I guess I do have a cross pen, don't I? So, now Janice Dean and Sid Rosenberg underwent this makeover at the hands of Joseph Abboud and Richards and Mitchell's. Are two, they're awful names for stores, but they're gorgeous stores. They're as high-end a store as you can probably get. I mean, they're like Prada or like, aren't they?
Yeah, they are absolutely the top end of the retail.
But they're just horrible names for stores. And the one in Westport, I drive by all the time, is like sandwiched between a pizza joint and a tanning parlor. So, but it's a beautiful
great store. They have great product.
Yeah,
Jack Welch shops there. I mean, all the right folks.
But Jack Welch is a dwarf, and who cares where he
if they can fit him, they can fit anybody.
But they're great. Go turn his microphone off. It's just not. He doesn't. Just turn his microphone off, or we're going to kill him. Anyway, they're great stores with horrible names. Anyway, they did this. They did this makeover of Janice, and Janice looks beautiful. I was talking to Deirdre. She said Janice looks beautiful, and Sid, she said even Sid looks better. But do you think he looks better?
He looks like a gay bus driver.
Do you guys think he looks better? No.
I like him
care how he looks?
Like him better as a scruffy Brooklyn Jew. It's like Malibu Ken. He's going to lose his sports credibility walking around. He's going to get beat up is what he's going to have.
He had no sports credibility. What sports credibility? Credibility.
I don't worry about credibility.
Mad Dog has more credibility.
No.
Wait a minute. Come on. Anyway, Chief Vinny, the thing that's kind of, I find curious is, you don't look like a, I don't want to sound bigoted, but...
That's all right. Go ahead.
Okay. But you don't seem like what I would expect an Indian to...
I don't look like an Indian to you. Like you look like a real cowboy. No, listen, because this comes up a lot of times. People come up here, they expect you maybe jumping around with feathers in my hair. What you want me to do a war dance or something? Well, no. It would have proved to you I'm a real Indian if I make it rain. Santino, hit the sprinkler. Now I'm an Indian. Forget about it.
Well.
There's a lot of different kinds of Indians.
No.
They're not all like Cochise, Chief Joseph. You know, I'm from the southern tribe.
No.
I have no idea what that means, but my grandfather told me that, and he was the sachem. So
it's kind of controversial, this move. The casino has bought this WNBA women's basketball team. I was kind of curious, as I can understand of wanting to have a sporting franchise, but what did you look at the demographics of the casino?
At the what?
The various people who were coming to the casino and think, gee, we don't have enough lesbians here, or what exactly was it?
Hey, you can never have too many lesbians. No, we just, frankly, it was financial. Everything we do here, of course, is financial.
Well, it makes sense, sure.
Certainly. There's only so many ways you can launder money. So we said, well, buy this team, $3 million for uniforms. You write that down. No, it's something else. We try to give our people, our wonderful patrons up here, anything that they possibly could want.
Sure.
And believe me, you could catch anything up here. Be very careful up here. But somebody came up with the idea. Why don't we have a girls' basketball team?
Sure.
So we said, okay, fine, because they won't let us play that old Indian game we used to play with the skulls. And that's not Connecticut.
Right.
No. Louisiana, you can do that.
Well, Chief Vinny here on the... thanks, Chief Vinny.
I want to thank you for coming up. It's really been a wonderful, wonderful morning. I love getting up 4:30 in the morning. This is great.
10 minutes after the hour here at the Irish Morning Program. Charles has some news. Do you, Charles?
Sure, Diamond.
Okay, what's going on?
They're saying Britain would be likely to introduce any new UN resolution authorizing the use of force against Saddam Hussein. British diplomat says the move wouldn't occur until weapons inspectors return from a weekend trip to Baghdad and report back to the Security Council. Britain is Washington's, of course, closest ally and would probably join any coalition against Iraq. Chief UN Inspector Hans Blick says an Iraqi scientist's sudden decision to be interviewed privately suggests to him, at least, that Baghdad is making an effort to cooperate, though he himself adds, we want to see a great deal more this weekend. That's when he and Mohammed El-Baradei will be heading back to Baghdad.
Barnacle's on the phone. He wanted to jump in here just for a second. Barnacle writing for the New York Daily News and on some radio station in Boston and we're on. Good morning, Barnacle.
Good morning, Don. Good morning, Chief Vinny. Morning, Big Face. Don, you've raised this question now several times to people this morning having to do with the fellow who was on McNeil Lehrer last night who was in a quandary as to Saddam Hussein's position is what can he do now? Admit that he gets caught with these things after denying it for so long? No. But history gives us an answer, Don, because we've seen that when you get a self-absorbed, delusional, petty, psychopathic megalomaniac who rules his kingdom through fear, torture, and finally gets caught, the solution is all he has to do is blame someone else and go to a commercial break.
I really hate you. Charles continues.
Of interest to you, I know, the doomsday clock.
Must be with Lupica somewhere.
Where is the symbolic measure of the world's proximity to nuclear annihilation remains at 7 minutes to midnight, despite everything that's going on. The doomsday clock hasn't moved, despite an earlier reference by UN Arms Chief Blix to Iraq that it was at 5 minutes to midnight. Blix needs to look at his own watch, evidently, because it hadn't moved.
Well, he wasn't referring to that clock, was he?
I think that was not my impression either, but whoever the Associated Press writer is, I don't think it was specifically to the doomsday clock.
Oh, it wasn't
but it
at
was
all.
just to 5 minutes to midnight, period.
No, he just meant time's up.
Exactly. At any rate, the Chicago-based Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists is the outfit who created the doomsday clock back in 1947. Pardon me?
Good.
They warned that concerns about Baghdad, North Korea, and terrorism could move the timepiece, and soon, closer to the midnight hour.
Okay.
If you know what I'm saying. What else? What?
No,
What is wrong with you?
I'm just listening to your stupid news.
Well, we need not do it because there's really not a great deal going on here, I do. The matter that Jay Barbary...
What do you mean there's not a lot going on?
The matter that Jay Barbary was
We're going to war
emphasizing...
with Iraq? The North Koreans are freaking out?
I mean, at the moment, you always are wondering, is it okay to get out of bed this morning and put
No,
one
it's
foot
not.
on the
There's
floor?
a snowstorm all over Connecticut and New York.
You got here, didn't you?
Well, yeah, but I mean, it took 2 hours. Normally it's an hour.
Well, then maybe things aren't as well as we would think.
No, we're all going to die.
Well, hopefully you first. Some sooner than others.
You want me to mention the matter that Jay Barbary was talking about this morning?
No.
While the mourning for the astronauts continues, so does the investigation into the Columbia tragedy. And as Jay Barbary was saying, that the most significant thing that has happened overnight is that there is this Air Force camera, the Starfire telescope, which was simply being calibrated out in the deserts there in the southwest, and they just simply were going to use the return of the shuttle as an object to focus on to help calibrate this telescope. And of course, it turned out recording the last
cactus or something out there, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
and so it got the last minute of the shuttle's return before the disintegration began.
But the other camera that would have given us the best view of this hard piece of foam that keeps changing in size, about like Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah.
Keeps getting bigger, then it gets smaller, then it gets bigger. I mean,
right.
Apparently the camera that would have provided the best view of that was out of focus.
Yes, it was.
Because some dummy had done something, pulled the plug or did some damn.
Yeah, and so they didn't get that.
Not dummy, but somebody made a mistake on it.
But what they did get, according to Mr. Barbary, is these photographs that show distinct and heavy damage to the left wing of the shuttle along the place where it joins the fuselage. And, why they don't know why the damage was there yet.
They rebuild these shuttles after every 4 or 5 missions.
Yes.
And even though this shuttle was first flown in 1981, and it was the oldest in the fleet, it had, for all intents and purposes, been completely rebuilt a number of times.
Right.
And my question for you is, when they rebuild it, how far do they take it down? Do they take it down just to the frame, or do they in effect build a new shuttle?
That I can't answer. I don't know.
See, I don't want to say unless I absolutely know, but I think they take it down to the frame. And they look at them much like you're going to restore a car or something. A frame off restoration, do
I would assume that they take it down very far.
I'm hiccuping because I ate this bagel just as fast as I could eat it. So I'm starving. Because I can only they have all that sausage and stuff down there, but I can't eat it anymore because it gives me indigestion.
Sworn off.
Yes.
Well, wise
Plus
decision.
it's awful for you.
Right.
Anyway, so the frame, the metal, after 20 years, even though they've completely rebuilt these shuttles, that could be weak. And so
I honestly don't know. I just...
I know you don't, and I don't know either. I
just don't know how much
I was going to try to discuss it with you, but obviously you apparently don't want to.
No, I just don't know how to answer you.
You didn't even know what a donut tire was 2 hours ago.
Honest to God. And now you're discussing shuttle refurbishment.
Oh, I know more about the shuttle than I know about a donut tire, pinhead.
Pinhead?
Well, you know, I was talking to Bernard early this morning. Of course, Bernard shaves his head. I said, he has an attractive-looking head. I mean,
it's a handsome skull.
It's not like a misshapen.
You have a nice skull.
Like this bald-headed guy over here. He has a nice, he's fat, but he has a nice shaped head.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he hasn't got like a pin. The other bald-headed guy's got a pretty nice head as well. So, in fact, if you want a little head, Joe,
Die. Dear God.
But, so I think it's good for Bernie, don't you think? I mean, as long as you don't have any hair and you got to shave your head.
No, if you're going to have to shave your head, you want a nice-looking skull.
Yeah, you don't want
a big, fat Fred Flintstone head like Larry or Rob or whatever. You want to have something.
What's wrong with Larry and Rob's heads?
They're big.
But they're big guys.
They're huge. Pumpkin heads.
Well, Janice is going to sing here in a minute, by the way. She wants to be one of the Bartletts, whatever that means. There's a little Wilson. Take it for you, baby.
I'm gonna wait till the midnight hour. That's when my love comes tumbling down. I'm gonna wait till the midnight hour when there's no one else around. I'm gonna take you, girl, and hold you, and do all the things I told you in the midnight hour. Yes, I am. Oh, yes, I am. One more thing I just want to say. Imus in the morning.
Turning 80 doesn't mean life gets boring.
At BigelowT.com.
Thanks to you.
It is 23 after the hour here in the Imus Morning Program. Now, Janice Dean, who's a scum reporter, and Sid, they're both here. And Janice is, Rob told me you wanted to be one of the Bartletts.
I thought it'd be fun one of these nights to go out with the Bartletts. But I'm sure that I have to prove myself somehow.
She assures me she can sing.
With a few lessons from you, I'm sure.
Well, we have to have you rehearse.
Okay.
You know, there'd have to be a couple of...
A doo-wop kind of thing.
Yeah, a couple of rehearsals with the girls and then a couple of rehearsals just with me.
What would be the rehearsal with you?
Just, costume fittings, things like that.
And then what would you have to... Have you ever sung before?
Sure, I can sing in the shower and...
Is this like an American Idol deal where you get all these people who think they can sing and that they're like Sid?
Well, I just sort of mentioned it in passing, kind of like a funny thing that I would come out some night, and of course it's turned into this big...
Hold on a second.
You'd have to put on about 80 pounds, by the way.
Yeah.
I heard the Bartletts are slim now.
No, Rob pays them in pork chops, I think, right?
I mean, do you know who Kelly Clarkson is?
Yes, he won the last one.
Are you going to tell me she's not a tremendous talent?
She's awful.
Okay, fair enough.
That song was dreadful, sickening.
What about Justin?
Wedding party song. He was awful.
You didn't think he was great?
No, they suck.
You're right.
They're terrible.
You're right. I got their album, of course.
Well, I'm sure you did. You like Michael Bolton, and you
I do.
Barry Manilow.
I like Barry Manilow.
Yeah.
I like.
Fit right in with Barry Manilow right now.
I love Elton John.
Fit right in with Peter
how would you
Allen right now.
Fit right into Barry Manilow.
Would it be with Liza Minnelli? Would it be possible to determine here whether Janice could sing or not?
I think if she sings a cappella, she could probably show that she could carry a tune. If she can carry a tune a cappella, then she could absolutely sing with the
So you could. So how would you, if you were going to audition, we'll just do that.
Okay. Do you have a picture and resume?
You already have that, baby.
Okay. Take off your top.
You've already seen that, too.
Do you have a number prepared for us today?
I think I just
us. Wait a minute, us. It's you.
Well, no, it's kind of like the royal we.
I'm playing Simon.
Okay.
There you are.
I'm Paula Abdul.
Okay, Larry's going to be Simon, and Rob is going to be the fat black guy.
First of all, I don't like your look at all.
I just got a makeover.
Dreadful. Pathetic, actually.
Oh, and you're beautiful right now, too.
That's fine. Do your little song.
What is she going to sing?
It's Raining Men.
What are you going to sing?
I'm open for a lift home after this, actually.
Do something simple.
Okay.
Just
Like a happy
What
birthday.
song do you know that you could sing?
Happy birthday.
No.
What about Singing in the Rain?
But I could do that.
No, but she could do Happy Birthday, but do it like Marilyn Monroe.
No.
Wouldn't that be entertaining?
We don't want. No, it won't.
What are we going to do?
I want a regular, like a doo-wop song. What do you guys do in your act? Want you to do doo-wop songs in your act?
Yeah.
Well, I want that.
Okay.
I want In the Still of the Night.
Okay, In the Still of the Night.
You know that one? Have you ever heard that one?
In the still of the night.
Ghastly. Simply ghastly.
She's flat.
No, she's not. She's got a nice rack. She's got a round ass, though.
Shut up! I've got enough pressure on me right now.
Okay, go ahead, Janet. What happened here?
Birthday to
Oh, this is awful. You're going to take her out to be a Bartlett?
happy.
This whole thing is a disaster.
I must say that your rendition of that song makes me hope I don't live until my next birthday. I have to hear it.
I do not, for one, think that the problem was that the band was down. I think that the problem may have been that there was a Stone Age monument on the stage that was in danger of being crushed by a dwarf.
David, whenever a single bump or a ruffle comes into this little fantasy world that you guys have built around yourself, you start screaming like a bunch of poncy hairdressers. I mean, it's just a problem, you know? It gets solved. Do you know what I spend my time doing? I sleep 2 or 3 hours a night. There's no sex and drugs for Ian, David.
Complete external diagnostic service can put your mind at ease. If you even suspect a problem, I'd give AMCO a call right now. Call them at 1-800-GO-AMCO. That's 1-800-GO-AMCO. And tell them that Sid sent you.
Yeah, 27 at the hour here on the Imus Morning program. Pat Buchanan from MSNBC is coming up this morning. He's got I ran for president 2 or 3 times, didn't he, Charles?
Sure, yeah.
He was not elected, as you may perhaps know.
No, he didn't.
You're aware. The Bodito will be on. Fred will be on. And a bunch of other stuff.
All right.
What's going on in the world, Charles?
Well, I'm in. Pardon me.
What's the latest on the shuttle?
Latest on the shuttle is that they're looking into the possibility that something struck or fell away from the shuttle as it was orbiting. Experts at the Johnson Space Center in Houston continue to look at the piece of foam insulation, also, that struck the shuttle's left wing shortly after Columbia lifted off. Undecided still if the foam could have done sufficient damage to the leading edge of the wing and heat shielding tiles to cause the orbiter to break up as it did. The New York Times, though, is reporting this morning that studies conducted by NASA over the past 4 years concluded that damage to the tiles on the leading edge, to this material on the leading edge of Columbia's wings, posed one of the highest risks of a catastrophic incident. The report says the studies centered mainly on significant damage that could be caused, potentially, in the event that even a tiny meteoroid or some other piece of space junk, space debris, happened to strike the leading edge of a wing. So that is one of the things they're looking at, certainly today. And apparently there is a particularly brittle material that is used in the leading edge of shuttle wings. Also, top UN inspectors have left the latest talks in Baghdad with what they say is, in their word,
a portrait of her, but, I mean, she's not like the woman who, the Bonnie Blakely deal, but...
Yeah.
Exactly. No, not at all.
Yeah, but...
She was a total piece of garbage. Well, what did they say about it, I mean?
Well, it's not I don't know. It seemed like it was almost kind of negative about her, portraying her as somebody who was, desperately trying to make it.
Yeah.
And she was, Well,
Hollywood is full of people like that.
I understand that, but she'd inched into her 40s and apparently had been in some, what they describe as these B movies, and had done a lot of commercials for Playtex and Kmart, and...
So you're saying the bitch deserved it?
No, I'm not saying anything. Don't kill the messenger here. I'm reporting on the article in Time magazine that did not... I was kind of surprised. It didn't paint a necessarily positive view of her. Not that suggesting that she deserved it, but suggesting that she was always looking to ingratiate herself with somebody who could further her career, that kind of thing. So.
Well,
there's nothing wrong with that. She was ambitious. Hollywood, the world is full of people
of
like
course.
that.
I mean, she's just out there networking, man.
I agree. I am simply trying to report here without much success the Time magazine story, which I thought was a little harsh, frankly.
Oh, okay.
That's my point. I mean,
well, she didn't latch on to Phil Spector because he looked like Joe Millionaire. That's
no,
for sure.
Probably not. No, he was.
And he makes the big decision tonight, huh? Joe Millionaire. Right over.
Yeah.
That's coming up.
Oh God.
Yeah. The suspense has become unbearable. We're told here, as the whole world, we're also told, waits for Joe Millionaire to choose his lucky lady tonight.
How many is it down to? Must be two now.
That would be two people.
The one who was tying herself up, and then what?
Zora Andrich and Sarah Kozer. And this,
what, the odds are in favor of who?
This unscientific little survey here says Zora, 71.4% of the readers of the New York Post responding, saying he should choose her. 28% say no, he should should choose Sarah.
Sarah's the one that was getting tied up,
yeah.
Right? And,
the big-chested floozy.
She is described here as a sassy, busty blonde. Sarah, where Zora is described as a leggy, homespun brunette.
Right.
And they overwhelmingly favor her.
I have seen the Bachelorette, who, how can I put this? Doesn't seem to me to be the catch of the century. I mean, she's a nice, cute kid. But just annoying and a dope.
Well,
but
it's another motor-mouth skank.
Shut up. So that was not Charles Barkley in a wig last night. That was Mariah Carey, you're telling me?
Correct.
I'll be darned.
In a nice, tight mermaid type outfit?
Yeah.
Man, she is, that was troubling. Because it's just screeching, and it was just not.
It was just.
Remember the song you made fun of me about Kid Rock and Sheryl Crow and Picture?
Yes.
Oh, that's a hit record now. Are you aware of that?
It's up the charts, yep.
There you go. The I-Man once again.
And playing a video on CMT.
On top of the situation.
Man with his finger on the pulse.
There you go.
With a bunch of morons around him. Discouraging him. Fighting him at every turn.
Well, no, you can't. You almost can't sit through the record. It's not. I mean, it's not great, but. Then the Dixie Chicks were on Saturday Night Live. God, that was troubling. God, the guy from How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days or whatever it is, Matthew McConaughey or whatever his name is.
Mm-hmm. Was the host?
Oh my God, it was just.
But it was a disaster.
Oh my God, it was awful.
What was worse, that or Jimmy Kimmel?
Saturday Night Live was embarrassingly, horrifyingly awful.
Really?
And Jimmy Kimmel and Tina Fey, and I mean, it's just.
Jimmy.
And I'm fans of theirs, Jimmy Fallon.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not fans of theirs. But I mean,
But that didn't work either.
Oh my God, they're just. You can't. But it's like you would imagine some junior high school assembly.
Oh no, not that.
Really, it's dreadful.
Like a talent show at a junior high school.
I mean, it's beyond dreadful.
No.
And I know they think they're getting it done, but they're believe me, they're not.
Wow, that's unfortunate.
And I think they probably get some. The ratings are probably pretty much what they. But I mean, I don't think that's an indication of what's going on there.
Becomes a habit.
I simply watched the Dixie Chicks were on, and they were.
How were they?
They were fine.
Okay.
That's about what they were. So.
But that was, in other words, that would have been the highlight of that particular show, I guess.
I'm not even sure about that. A quarter till the hour. Fred's birthday is tomorrow.
That's all right.
I won't be going to sleep during the games anymore. I solved that problem.
How did you solve that?
Well, you know what was happening? It's kind of bizarre. I'd wake up about 3 o'clock and have to go to the bathroom.
Yes.
So I'd lay there a while, and then get up, and then I couldn't go back to sleep, so I was getting up at 3 in the morning.
Why don't you just wear diapers?
Imus in the morning.
This little blonde girl comes home from her third grade class, and she says to her mother, you know, we counted to 10 today in our class, but I counted to 15. Is that because I'm blonde? And her mother says, yes, honey. So the next day she says, our class counted up to H, but I counted up to M. Is that because I'm blonde? My mother says, well, yes, honey, it is. So the next day she comes home, she says, you know, we were in swimming class, and I noticed my breasts were a lot bigger than the other girls. Is that because I'm blonde? And her mother says, no, honey, that's because you're 26 years old.